Hi everybody, welcome to Automobilista 2. We're here at Daytona in an LMP2 race against the AI. I'm about to make a statement that will probably be controversial, might get people tapping on their keyboards, but to be fair, most people will not care about my opinion anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But after the 1.6 release, due to the sum of all its parts, not just one or two things, but the sum of everything, and that's a very important distinction, AMS2 is now the best driving simulator. As we concertina through the first corner there, and everyone picks their jaws up off the floor or picks themselves up off their chair they've just fallen off, clutches their pearls. I'll repeat it again, AMS2 is overall the best driving simulator. Now why, you might ask, why are you saying such idiotic things, you stupid man? Well, let's go through them. First thing, it's very important to people, graphics. Tell me a simulator that looks better than this. Doesn't happen. Yes, you can mention AC with Pure and all the rain, the CSP effects, the whole kit and caboodle, and that's a fair statement, does look really good, but that's not out of the box, that's a mod, it's an add-on, and not everybody's comfortable with that side of things, with modding things, installing things. Takes a bit of trickery as well to get everything set up properly with CSP especially. And to be fair, I still don't think that looks as good as this. And the transition from day to night, the skyboxes, the rain, the sun at this time of day, the car models, it looks absolutely superb. And let's be honest, most gamers and sim racers are gamers, they love graphics. And this absolutely ticks the box on that, so that's a big tick first off. And of course, graphics leads us naturally into sounds, because obviously audio is a huge part of motor racing. There's a reason why nobody watches e-racing, because you can't hear it. We love the sound, we love the old F1 cars. We love GT3, big 3D GT3 cars. Now, the best sound in sim racing for me, hands down, is Race Room. Fantastic engine sounds, the cracks and baubles that come through the car. Race Room can't be beaten, but that's fine. That's just my opinion, but this is still superb. I mean, it sounds great. They've had a lot of improvements with the 1.6 patch as well. A lot of improvements to the sound, and by the way, the graphics as well. It had a lot of tweaking on that front, but the sounds have been tweaked, I think, pretty much for every car. And they sound great, they sound absolutely good enough. You can always tweak a few things here and there, I suppose, but when you're in an LFM race with 30 other people, this LMP2 car sounds like an LMP2 car. A GT3 car sounds fantastic, the big 3D Mercedes, the retro F1 cars sound superb. Again, it's good enough. Is it the absolute best? We can debate that till the cows come home, and people do. But it's more than acceptable. And of course I'm doing an AI race here at the moment, and again, a lot of sim racers will never get online and race against humans. They're more than happy to race AI. And to be fair, I think AMS2's always had pretty good AI. Again, it can be very subjective, and everyone has their own preferences on AI. It's never going to be perfect, I don't think, because they're not humans, they are AI. They have been programmed by somebody to behave in a certain way. So you're never going to please everybody. But AMS2 has always been pretty good. And again, there's been further tweaks and improvements in the 1.6. I mean, if you see the list of things that have improved, you can understand why it took so long to release 1.6. It's just every facet of the game was overhauled, and AI is one of them. You know, they'll be slightly more cautious on the opening lap. They will go for maneuvers though. There's a great thing now, you can tweak the wet weather AI, because in the previous builds they were absolutely matter. They were driving like Ayrton Senna, all of them, in the wet, so you can now individually tweak the wet AI. The top end of the AI has been tweaked, so 120% AI is a little bit faster than it used to be. The 70% level, which is the lowest level, is a little bit slower than it used to be, so you should be able to find a good spread. If you do a little bit of testing, you should be able to find an AI level that suits you. I've turned this down a little bit to just over 100 because I'm driving and talking at the same time, and because I'm a man, I find it hard to do two things at once. And of course, you would have seen on the menu with the new UI, there is a greyed out career box, because there is a career mode coming, I believe in January next year. So again, for those guys that love the offline stuff, that is absolutely superb. I'm sure it'll work very well like everything else does in the AMS2. Now on the flip side, we've got, of course, the multiplayer aspect, which has been a huge problem for this game. But there's been, again, lots of tweaks happening to it. So there's less data being sent and received when people host, because the thing with AMS2, it's so easy. You can just jump on with your mates, you can start your own lobby. There's no port forwarding trickery like you have to do with AC. You don't have to pay for any server time like other sims. You just get on, you're pressing buttons, in about 2 minutes you can have a race set up. You can chuck a password or not and get your mates involved, or get the public involved, whoever you want, and away you go. And of course, hand in hand with that, we've got the low fuel motorsport integration, LFM, which has been absolutely chock-a-block on the weekend. 32 car grids across multiple splits. And again, something you don't have to pay for. Just jump in and race human opponents. And from my experience so far on the weekend, the online racing has been quite good. There's a little bit of problem with invisible cars. There's a little bug there with that I've read. I haven't experienced that myself, but I've been racing a lot of Europeans and South Americans over the weekend. Lobbies have been stable, ping's been good. No real bouncing around, no disconnects, which is a big thing, of course, with AMS2. And of course, the gold standard with multiplayer is iRacing. That's probably never going to change. It's got the biggest player base. And again, that's fine. We're talking about the sum of its parts. This multiplayer system that AMS2 has is more than good enough. LFM is more than good enough. You're able to host your own races really easy. That's more than good enough for most people. So, yes, we know it's not iRacing. That's absolutely fine. But you also don't have to pay for this every month. That's a huge factor for people as well. Content. That's the next big thing. Huge amount of content. I mean, if you can't find something to drive an AMS2, you're not trying hard enough. You're everything from vintage Formula 1 cars through to literally a truck that you can drive, and everything in between. It's bonkers. And of course, yeah, AC, plenty of content. I've got, I think, 500 cars and a couple hundred tracks on AC that I never drive, 90% of them. And it's probably the same with most sims. I've got all the content on Race Room. I can't say I've driven all of it, but I've got it. Same with AMS2, I pretty much own all the content. I'll certainly buy the new stuff. There's sales that come every now and then. It's reasonably priced, I'm trying to say, for the DLC with this. It's, you know, not like R Factor and Race Room, which is stupidly expensive. AMS is still fairly reasonably priced, so you can grab that content that you like. It's got, I said, just a ton of content, so it's never going to get old, and there's new stuff coming out all the time as well. And you don't have to pay any sort of subscription. Once you've paid that money, you've paid it. And of course, the most important thing, the driving side of it. Yes, AMS was abysmal before 1.6. Everyone knew about the floaty, slidey stuff, you know, Project Car Hangover, Madness Engine, this and that, and all the rest of it. And I'll admit, I was underwhelmed, was the word I used on the first day when I drove it over the weekend with the new 1.6 patch. Admittedly, I was probably a bit tired that day, so it wasn't the greatest day to start, you know, trying the new features of AMS2. Probably should have left it another day or two. I get punted there by the AI. That's okay. So yeah, so the driving style, I wasn't in the best frame of mind when I tried it the first day, but it is absolutely better. 100%. Not every car is going to drive superbly. That's the thing. Like, you're not going to like every single car, even though they've all had the 1.6 treatment. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to gel with every car, and that was probably my issue when I first drove it. You know, the GT3 Gen 2 cars aren't great, but it has improved. There's no doubt about that. They talk about all this hysteresis and brake thermodynamics, all this sort of technical stuff. Whatever they've done has improved the game. There's no doubt about it. And again, we can argue till the cows come home about what sim drives the best, and my opinion still is that R-Factor and Race Room do it better. But they're both very old sims now, and their Race Room is being updated constantly. R-Factor is getting very long in the tooth. People have trouble with R-Factor in terms of setting things up, which I understand. Because AMS2 you can just jump straight in and drive it, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive over the weekend, except for Gamer Muscle, of course. He doesn't like anything. But there's definitely more of a connection between the steering wheel and the tyres. Is it perfect? No, I still don't think it is, but is 90 or 95% of the way good enough? Absolutely. Most sim races you just want to jump on once a week, or just jump on with their mates, not get too serious about it. It's absolutely fantastic. And for the hardcore guys, it's very good. You just got to put any old AMS2 thoughts that you had out of your head and judge it pretty much as a new game. So the summary is, if somebody asks me, for example, I've just spent all this money on a brand new PC, spent $3,000-4,000 on a PC, what's the one simulator I should get? It would be this, AMS2. Because of the sum of all its parts. It doesn't do everything fantastically well, but it does most things superbly well. And so if you're going to plonk down some money on one sim and spend all the DLC and have variety and all that sort of stuff, and you can play online, offline, this, I can't see any of the other simulators, ticking those boxes of the sum of all its parts. I think it's as simple as that. I said that's a comment that probably most people won't agree with, but I said in summary, if you had one simulator to buy, it would be this. Because the other ones are simply, the other good ones, are too long in the tooth. Some of them are too expensive. Some drive better, which is fine. But the overall experience, I don't think you'll find better than AMS2 at the moment. As we get that lovely setting sun just to bring us back around to the graphic side of it. A little bit of a time progression here by the look of it. And the game is looking absolutely superb at this time of night. And I've pretty much got a smile on my face. It's just good fun. And that's what sim racing should be. It should be fun. But this certainly has now elevated itself into that more high level conversation of what is the best simulator, what's the best driving simulator. At the end of the day, it is about driving. And I'm probably being a little bit conservative. I don't want to go too hard and say it drives better than my old favourites, because I've hung on to those old favourites for quite a while. But at some point, you've got to move on, haven't you? So we've come across the line now after 8 laps. As always, thanks for watching. Leave your comments down below, especially if you disagree. And as always, take care.